Hello, this is Tony Heller from realclimatescience.com. Ahead of the 2020 election, Scientific American endorsed a candidate for the first time in their 175-year history. They said that Joe Biden would control a virus which had killed 190,000 Americans. And they also said that Joe Biden would stop the climate from changing and in the process create 2 million new jobs for U.S. workers. According to Scientific American, the climate is controlled by greenhouse gases and in particular by carbon dioxide. Scientists are supposed to base their theories on data, so let's take a look. This graph shows atmospheric carbon dioxide at the Mauna Loa Observatory since the mid-1970s. Joe Biden has been a politician in Washington, D.C. during this entire period. And he's been in the White House for most of the last 13 years. Carbon dioxide in the atmosphere has continued to grow in an upwards curvature during this entire time, regardless of which party was in control of the White House. If Scientific American believes that carbon dioxide controls the climate, then they can't make an argument that having a Democrat in the White House makes any difference. History shows that carbon dioxide emissions rise just as quickly when Biden's in the White House as when President Trump was. And after 1 year with Joe Biden in the White House, the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere reached a December record. During his 9 years in the White House, Joe Biden has done absolutely nothing to slow the increase in carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Scientific American also said they endorsed Joe Biden because he would restore our commitments to the Paris Climate Agreement. But history shows that the dozens of climate agreements over the past 30 years have had no impact on the growth of CO2 in the atmosphere. These climate agreements are nothing more than political posturing. They have no impact on CO2 and certainly no impact on the climate. Scientific American said that Joe Biden's investment in green energy would create 2 million jobs for U.S. workers. This is the same promise he made in 2009, except at that time he was promising 5 million new jobs. But as it turned out, Biden actually created less than 3,000 new jobs at a cost to taxpayers of more than $5 million per job. Biden hasn't done anything to control CO2 or the climate, but he has succeeded in making oil prices skyrocket. High energy prices are the most regressive form of taxation because they crush the poor and middle class while having essentially no impact on the rich. Joe Biden promised that he wouldn't increase taxes on people making less than $400,000 per year, but his energy policies have effectively accomplished the exact opposite. Additionally, Scientific American said that Joe Biden would be able to control a coronavirus. And since the pretend election of 2020 occurred, the number of active cases in the United States has increased by a factor of 10. Not only have cases increased, but 75% of U.S. deaths have occurred since the 2020 election. The fact that Scientific American believed Joe Biden could control the climate and viruses shows that Scientific American understands very little about both topics. There was never any valid scientific basis for believing that Joe Biden could control either. What this tells me is that Scientific American is no longer a science-based publication. They've become just one more part of a corrupt, incompetent, and politically motivated press corps. Toto has been pulling back the curtain on these scamsters for the past 14 years. You can visit him, Kyrie, and Caesar on the web at realclimatescience.com.